Hello PEI, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking about something that's been in the news a lot lately, buying Canadian. And a huge thank you to our sponsor for giving us this timely topic, Mike Montague, RE/MAX, Charlottetown Realty. With all this talk about tariffs and trade wars and uncertainty around goods coming in from the U.S., there's been this big push to buy Canadian settlement. As islanders, that's always been important to us.
Of course, supporting local, yeah.
But with these tariffs, it makes you think twice,
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, well, what does it actually mean to buy Canadian? And how easy is it really?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, it sounds great in theory, but when you're actually standing in the grocery store or, shopping for clothes or whatever, how do you really know?
Yeah, and that's what we want to unpack today. Like, what are islanders facing when they're trying to buy Canadian? What do you need to know as a consumer to actually make informed choices?
Exactly, because it's not always clear, Just looking at a label or a price tag, there's a lot more to it.
Exactly.
And it's important to understand the nuances, right?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing to talk about is this whole tariff situation. It's still kind of up in the air, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, both U.S. and Canada agreed to hold off for a bit. Still kind of in this limbo, waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah, and it's causing a lot of uncertainty for businesses.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine you're a store owner trying to decide what to stock your shelves with. It's like, do you go with the potentially cheaper U.S. imports, or do you try to find Canadian alternatives?
Right, and those Canadian alternatives might be more expensive, which then impacts, the prices that consumers see.
Exactly.
It's a ripple effect.
And then on the consumer side, it's like, okay, well, if I want to buy Canadian, how do I actually know what's truly Canadian?
Yeah, because you see made in Canada on a label and you think, okay,
right,
I'm good.
But it's not that simple.
It's not, no.
Our research actually pointed out this really important distinction between product of Canada and made in Canada.
Right, there's a big difference.
So products of Canada, that means like 98% of the production happened here.
Yeah, almost everything from start to finish has to be Canadian for it to qualify for that label.
But then you have made in Canada, which only guarantees 51% Canadian content.
51%. Yeah, so basically, half of the product could be made with imported parts.
Wow.
So it's really misleading.
It is, yeah.
And as consumers, we need to be aware of that.
So how do we navigate this as consumers?
It can be tricky, but one good tip is to focus on supply-managed products.
Okay.
Things like eggs, chicken, turkey, dairy, those are almost always Canadian.
Because of supply management?
Exactly. Our farmers work together to control production and meet the demand here at home.
So that limits the amount of imports coming in.
And ensures a stable supply of high-quality Canadian products.
So it's kind of like a built-in buy local system.
Yeah, you could say that.
And it's easy to spot those products, too. Just look for that little blue cow logo.
Oh, yeah, from Dairy Farmers of Canada. That's a good indicator.
So it sounds like being a mindful shopper is more important than ever.
Absolutely.
And Premier Dennis King actually acknowledged that. And one of our sources, he was quoted as saying, "I don't think we can afford not to help islanders deal with the potential fallout from these tariffs."
He's right. I mean, the government has a role to play here in supporting local businesses and making sure islanders have access to affordable products.
So it's a complex issue with a lot of moving parts.
It is.
But one thing's for sure. We need to stay informed as consumers and support our local businesses whenever we can.
Yeah, and you know what, this whole situation, it could actually be an opportunity for PEI.
Oh, so?
Well, it's forcing us to re-examine our reliance on imports. And maybe this is a chance to strengthen our local food systems.
We'll keep you updated as this story develops. This episode was brought to you by Mike Montague, RE/MAX, Charlottetown Realty, your island realtor.